these are different times from business point of view, from people point of view, helps people to engage themselves in the work with a sense of joy, a sense of happiness. And
I
how
really
important is it in these times?
Rewards program where we are saying, okay, let's recognize.
People are coming back to their streets. Small businesses are opening up. Happier me, happier world.
Happier me and happier world.
Welcome to conversational series of Happier Beings, where we are trying to understand importance and challenges of professional happiness in raising productivity in these times of unexampled crisis, which has stuck all people across the segments and across the geographies. And today we are talking to Nandini Mehta. She is HR professional and has an overall experience of 21 years. She thrives in a culture where people strategies are developed in line with the business and organization goals. She has a proven track record of leading large teams that delivers results and working with business to reduce attrition, increase employee engagement and productivity. She has been recognized as the Women Achiever of the year 2016 and 17 by Jain University, and also top 100 HR professional in the year 2017-18, and she's leading Lifestyle International Private Limited, and she's in the capacity of Vice President Human Resource. Welcome, Nandini, to the show, and how are you doing today?
Thank you so much, Puneet, for this wonderful introduction. The whole theme around which this conversation is about happiness, and to be very honest, I'm feeling very happy today to be here and to share some of my thoughts and some of the things that we as an organization are doing to ensure that our employees are always smiling.
Wonderful. So good to have you, Nandini, and so happy to begin on this note of some shoots of happiness which you're carrying at your side. So, the first thing that we would want to know is you would appreciate how COVID-19 has changed the world completely. So we are seeing people are forced to live in a different lifestyle, and these are all radical different ways. So we are seeing how social distancing have come into all walks of life. When we talk about things which are to do outside, and we are talking about remote working when we talk about things which are inside. So we have reduced staff at office, we have travel bans, we have virtual meetings, high hygiene is a mandatory call all across. People are using masks. Now, how has this change affected people at your workplace?
So, like you rightly mentioned, I think these are very unprecedented times, and we never expected something like this. I don't think we have any time experienced something like this, nor did we expect, such a situation to arise. And it has definitely impacted most organizations, be it large organizations, be it smaller companies, and every organization has employees, and it has definitely taken a toll on them as well. But having said that, I think organizations are adapting to the new ways of working. They're adapting to newer ways of connecting with their employees. And at the same time, currently the situation demands being in high safety, ensuring that people are healthy, people are happy, because situations are not conducive to happiness, if you ask me right now. Yeah. So what are we doing as an organization? I think initially we also struggled with the whole challenge of how do we deal with COVID-19. And we are a retail organization not used to a work from home culture at all. We thrive because of our stores. So it was a very difficult phase initially for us, figuring out how do we go about it. But I think we quickly picked up from where we were grappling. We ensured that that all employees were provided the necessary infrastructure to work from home, like laptops and LAN connections and Wi-Fi's, and there are certain softwares required for certain profiles. So we ensured that people were completely equipped to work from home. So I definitely owe this largely to our IT team, who has put in a lot of effort there. And we also quickly put together certain measures that our employees need to take while they are at home to remain safe. And we did a lot of interventions to orient and train our employees around that. So I think the new norm, which is working from home, which is having, like you rightly said, virtual meetings, ensuring we connect with our employees virtually. I think we did a lot of work around that. And you may be surprised to know that we do run a happiness campaign in our organization. Our entire engagement piece is themed as happiness. So we continue to do that on a virtual platform. So for example, we had the yoga day, just International Yoga Day, just last week, and we did an entire engagement around it, where people did something around yoga, and they put up their videos, and then we put it together and played it for everyone. We have Facebook at workplace, so we put it up there. So I think what becomes very important at this point in time is, how do we stay connected with our employees? How do we give them the assurance that don't worry, we are there with you? How do we support them by giving them platforms where they can actually share their feelings and thoughts? Because at this point in time, we do see that a lot of people do face isolation. They do face this whole thing. They're anxious about being all by themselves, being confined within the four walls of the home. A lot of people staying alone. So I think what we've also done is, our human resource team, we have HRBPs across, are connected with our employees through WhatsApp, through calls. The line managers are regularly meeting them and having small get-togethers. Of course, virtual, some tea time meetings, which are not talking about work. So in fact, I had one with my team just yesterday, where we just kind of had some games and some chill out time. So I think that becomes very important as an organization. How do we keep connected with them and ensure that they are happy? Yeah.
Wonderful to hear that. So many things, and the theme of happiness which is there with you. So we'll come to an important piece which you are trying to describe around the challenges which are there. Since we are talking about happiness, we lean towards positivity, and that's our theme. So we want to understand what is happening, right? So normally the disposition of mind is to see what is not happening, which is like, grievance, which is something like state of felt deprivation as need. I want this, and this is not right. So normally that's the mindset. So it's very important to see from the window of what is right and what is happening right. And the professional happiness is built around this. So what do you feel, since you are in touch with the people, and what do you feel, what is happening right for your people, or people are telling to you that this is happening right for us?
One of the first things that people have told me is that they're very glad that they don't have to commute. There are a lot of people who are commuting 2 hours to anything between 2 and 4 hours when they come to office. So I think one of the biggest things that makes a difference to them today is they feel they're more productive because they're not wasting 4 hours on the road. And Bangalore traffic, I'm sure you're aware of how it is. So I think that is one thing which brings smile to people's faces, saying that I'm not traveling for us. So now, apart from work, time doing things which I haven't done for years. So I see a lot of my employees painting, dancing, physical fitness that they are into, yoga, and general, so whatever they can do at home in terms of exercises, connecting with their families, a lot of them cooking food. So I think people feel that they're utilizing their time to do things which they otherwise would never have been able to do. Spending quality time with their families, connecting with older friends who they probably wouldn't have spoken to for a long time. So I think these are all the good things that people have spoken about. And I think for me personally, if you ask me what's something that has happened to me which is good, I think I've also started realizing that as humans we actually need so little, but just because our environment provides us with abundance, we end up wasting a lot of our time, a lot of our money, a lot of our energy on things which we actually don't really need. So being in the house for 2.5 months, I realized that you can survive with very less. You really don't need much, So I think to me, that's been the biggest learning. And when I speak about this to a lot of my employees, even they say the same thing, that we realize we really don't need much, So I think people are saving a lot as well at this during this.
People are speaking about more vocal on minimalism as
Right.
the way forward. So, this changed situation, as what we see and experts are telling, a near foreseeable future is going to stay. And what we understand as normal, we are not returning to that normal in any recent time. That horizon, as of now, nobody knows, but it's not early, as what we understand. And in these changed circumstances and in these changed situations, if we talk about the challenges piece, which people are coming up to you, and you are able to understand that these are the challenges which we are facing day in, day out. And there are some things which you will be able to do, which can bring a change in that. So let's go one by one. Let's first understand the bucket of challenges which is there, and people are reporting that. You are able to identify that, and then what can be done differently to change that.
Right. So I think one of the biggest challenges that I'm seeing right now is the fact that human beings are, at the end of the day, social beings. And this entire COVID situation has brought people into social isolation. So they're restricted in terms of connecting with people. While of course there are virtual conversations, but there is always the need to be, to have a face-to-face conversation with people, to meet people in a social gathering. Even at the workplace, we're spending almost 8 to 10 hours at work, and the whole thing of that my workspace is missing. So I think that is one of the biggest challenges that people are facing today in terms of the social isolation piece. And definitely this is leading to a lot of psychological and mental health issues, which otherwise may not have been there.
Anything which comes to your mind which has been reported from the people or from your interaction, or something which you have done from the organization point of view, you are able to see?
So we really haven't had any such case where people have reported about feeling isolated. Basically, of course, feeling isolated, a lot I've mentioned, but getting into depression or taking any drastic steps, thank God we've not faced any such issue, because I think the reason is we are very connected with our employees, and we ensure that if not HR, even the line managers are constantly in touch with them. So we've built that entire ecosystem. So we've really not got such major issues that have come. But I do hear a lot of them saying that, when will the office open? When will our stores open? When will we get back to work? When will we, interact with everyone? So definitely there is that, I would say, a void that people feel. And it's I basically feel that there are pros and cons to everything. once office starts, then they'll start missing the whole thing of being at home. I'm sure of that. So I think, yeah, this is one of the biggest. And once things once things start opening up, and like you were saying, things may not fall in place for the next 1.5, 2 years, and things may not be normal like it used to be. And I just feel that people will have got used to this as the new normal. So I don't see a major challenge in people getting aligned to the new ways of working. So the way I look at it for my organization, the biggest benefit is we always thought work from home was impossible, but I'm sure very soon we will have it as a policy. I'm very sure about it. So I think that's the change that we have worked with, and we feel it's going to help us in future. So I just feel that now the new normal has already set in. People are used to wearing masks. People are used to socially distancing themselves. People have got used to washing their hands or using a sanitizer after anything that they touch. People are used to first taking a shower before they enter. I mean, as soon as they enter the house, people are used to cleaning their vegetables, fruits, and whatever they get from outside. And if you ask me, this is not a new normal. These were all things which once upon a time our ancestors used to follow. It's just that, because of the smaller houses, hectic lifestyles, I think we've left them behind. So if you ask me, it is not a new normal. It is just that we are getting back to older ways of living. That's how I would put it.
Right.
I think the challenges are overcome. But during this period, I feel the support system is very, very important. As an organization, we have worked on, so we have something called a Train Circle app, which has a counseling helpline. So if anyone wants to speak to someone when they are down and low, they can always call and speak to someone through that helpline. We have our own internal, help desk, where if someone has a grievance, someone has an issue, someone wants to talk, they can actually reach out. Like I mentioned to you, we have our HRBPs across where, they are connected with right up to our frontline staff. So if anyone has any issue, they can always pick up the phone and speak to them. So I think the whole support system we've created around ensuring that, the challenges that people are facing today are met with strongly, I'm sure we'll overcome them soon.
Absolutely. So one good thing is, as theory says, and as what I've been going through and reading and understanding, that for humans, change is not a problem. They seems to adapt themselves to the change sooner or later. But and it's coming from your side as well, when you have described through that, people have adjusted and understood the new way of living in these times. The style of living or the style of working, whatever you say. So in these times, still things are different. So when we are talking about professional happiness, so I would want to know, what does this professional happiness means to you in these times? And since we are taking our conversation on this subject, so one must have a meaning of professional happiness. What comes to your mind? What do you understand in these times? Is it important to have professional happiness at workplace? And how important is it in these times, Nandini? What do you feel?
So I will, in terms of in these times, I will probably go reverse. So I would say living in the moment. So look at what are the positives that have happened to you in these last, 2.5, 3 months, and focus on that. I think it's very important that you focus on the positive things that have happened to you, because we can always say, oh, why did this happen? Why are we sitting at home? We can brood over it. But what is important is what is the good that has happened through this. So if you ask me, I think, from a personal perspective, I think I've started knowing myself better. I have started doing certain things which I would have otherwise never done. Like I just thought I should sketch. So I just picked up this course and I'm doing, probably a 5th, 6th standard student would be doing it, but I'm enjoying it. I'm loving doing it, you know. So yeah, so that's what I do. And then, of course, my work keeps me very, but whenever I get time, I do that. I cook, which I earlier wasn't, really getting the time to do. So I kind of spend time cooking. I have my daughter-in-law with me, so we both have our me time, which otherwise I don't think I would have ever been able to get. So my son just got married, and so yeah. So I think it's all about how do you just make the best of the moments that you have in the toughest of times as well. And it's just about, just have to say, it's just one more day. And if we keep saying that to ourselves, I think every day would go well. So that is very important. Then I told you about the sense of purpose. I think if you're very focused on what is it that you really, really want at work or in your personal space, I think that your focus is going to just keep you motivated during these tough times. The third part which I spoke about you is celebrating every small accomplishment. I think we've been doing this really well in our organization as well, where we kind of connect with our teams, like I was telling you. So I've made it a thing that every Friday me and my immediate team meet up for a 1 hour of just fun time. And every fortnight now we've started with the extended teams, saying, okay, let all of us meet up. And yesterday was our first second such meeting, in fact, where we said, okay, let's just celebrate, let's have some games. So I think it's very important that we celebrate all the small accomplishments. We celebrate every individual in the team, that becomes very important. So I think and this will keep them motivated as well in these tough times. So like, for example, yesterday we were having these conversations where somebody who stays alone said, I'm doing best out of waste. I have a lot of stuff which I'm putting together and making some beautiful things. So it is so motivating for the rest of them, right? So things like that. And somebody put up a nice display of all the things that she had cooked at home. So when everybody sees it, they're excited and they feel, okay, I can also do this. So I think this is very important. Staying connected, motivating each other, and the sense of purpose and compassion and accomplishment, I think, is important. And live the moment. I very strongly believe in that, the fact that you should live every moment, enjoy every moment, and don't think about what's going to happen tomorrow. I think that is very, very important. So I think this is what, to me, is really, really essential to stay motivated at work in such difficult times. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful to hear many examples which you have described about people, how they are trying to, be happy, and the importance side of it. So now you say that, these are difficult times, and specifically for an organization where customers' footfall and interaction face-to-face with customers and people at work have taken office as one part of life, going to office and working there, and now there's a change circumstances. So there are good examples which you described on the personal piece. If we have to understand from the organization point of view, for prolonged happiness, we look at culture. So, and these are different times from business point of view, from people point of view. Somebody who is got infected or somebody who is having a case near to them, there is a sense of fear. And maybe, since because the business model is changing, there will be an anxiety in people, what is going to happen next, since you might be incorporating digital. So a lot of things may go into the learning piece. So in these change times, how do you look at building culture which helps people to engage themselves in the work with a sense of joy, a sense of happiness on a prolonged basis.
Right. So I think probably, something which I missed in my previous answer as well. So apart from the whole social isolation, I think the second very important challenge which an organization per se is facing, people are facing, is the fact that there is a sense of fear in every individual in terms of, will I have my job? What is going to happen tomorrow? Will the business be able to survive and sustain? Because it's been 3 months since there's not been any business at all, be it a big organization, be it a small company. And obviously when that happens, there is a pressure with the business in terms of optimizing costs. And when that happens, there is definitely bound to be some retrenchment that happens in an organization. And when we try to do that, it's going to definitely impact the morale of the larger group of people who are still working with us. And in this scenario, I think one of the most critical things for any organization is to continuously keep communicating with the employees, keep assuring them that while we are taking these steps because of whatever reasons, it does not mean that we don't care for you. So I think this whole message, a whole lot of communication needs to go to people, and we have been very successful in doing that. We are continuously talking to our employees, we are continuously being in touch with them. I mentioned to you about that earlier also. We are in fact putting an entire rewards program where we are saying, okay, let's recognize people who are doing very well from the work front, people who are supporting these situations that we are in currently in from a personal space. So how do we recognize and reward them? So we're in fact putting an entire program around that right now as we talk. And we are also looking at, we are already doing, like I told you, we have the entire happiness campaign where we're doing a lot of engagement activities while they are virtual. So earlier we were doing them in the physical presence of people. Today we are doing them virtually, but we are doing, and the major chunk of it is on the communication, right? So we are having a lot of these interventions with our teams. For the frontline staff, we have our HRBPs who've created these WhatsApp groups through which they are communicating with them. We are doing a lot of training interventions at this point in time to ensure that they are learning new skills, they are developing new knowledge based on whatever we are, whatever our business is. So we are a lifestyle business.
Would you want to describe for people who may be watching you, and it can be a learning or helping experience, something as a best practice that you want to take through? If you want to.
Of course. So I think the very first thing we did the moment we realized that, we are going to now go virtual is, like I mentioned to you about the Train Circle app for lifestyle. And, so we have Retail Association of India that has provided this app to us. So while we were not very actively using it, we thought this was the best time to actually get people to install the app. And this app has a lot of features in it. Like I mentioned to you, one of the features in it is the counseling piece, where Train has a lot of professional counselors on board, and anyone could call them up and have a conversation with them if they are anxious, if they are depressed, if they are stressed, and it is going to be completely confidential. So I think that is one feature which is there in the app, which we have.
You're seeing good participation there at your side?
It is not that great, but at least the support is there, and people to use can definitely.
Right, absolutely.
And the other thing that we are utilizing piece. So what we have done during this time is, one, we've got a lot of interventions around sensitizing people about the whole current situation. So a lot of modules built around that, a lot of modules built around the safety requirements, built around what is it you can do to strengthen your immune system, and once we are opening up, what are the things that you have to take care when you're getting back to work, how do you handle your customers, how you deal with your customers. And over and above that, we've put in a lot of product modules, we've put in a lot of modules around various processes that we have. So we are continuously in touch with our employees to ensure that they complete these modules. So I think this is one very good thing that we've done. The second thing which I mentioned to you, which could be, I'm sure a lot of organizations would be doing it, but I would still emphasize on that, is that connecting with your teams. So while HR may not be able to reach out to the entire 30,000-40,000 employees that we have in our organization, but line managers have been doing it very effectively. So we had this one case where this girl, definitely she was not COVID positive, but she was unwell and she was staying alone. So her team was actually cooking food and taking it for her, and ensuring that she eats, and we also arranged to ensure that she's taken to the hospital where it was required.
Right.
She got admitted there, and she's recovered now. And then we in fact reached out to her parents, spoke to her parents, and all this has been done by her team members.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
I think that is what is required at this point,
right,
where you support your team members. And I think that is something which I would say every team, every function is doing really well in our organization. And it is just simply because we've built that culture in the organization of compassion, respect, care, camaraderie. So I think that is what is something that really matters at this point.
Wonderful to hear this. Now, it brings us to a very important point here when we are, trying to decipher when we are moving on from here. Till now, it was all about locking 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we are suddenly talking about unlocking 1, and we are talking this from the perspective of all the macros. And if you see, life is now returning back. People are coming back to the streets. Small businesses are opening up. And in these times, companies are opening their offices. People are returning back to work. Now, what do you feel, are 2-3 things which is important for companies to look at, for people to look at, from the point of view of challenges which would be these things will matter to people when they are coming back to work, and line managers or people managers or HR should keep in mind?
Sure. So I think first I will take this from an individual perspective. I think it becomes very important for every individual to take the moral and social responsibility on themselves, because even if we start unlocking, we know that we have still not reached a safe situation. So as an individual, if I'm going to office, I think I need to ensure that I'm honest in case I see that I have any symptoms which could be a COVID positive symptom, right? So I need to be very honest about it and ensure that if I am having any such symptoms, I keep my organization informed as per the process. So we do have a process that we have put together, and so that it doesn't lead to larger problems. So I think that is very, very important at an individual level. So that is for me as a part of the organization. I think I owe it to the organization, to all the employees working there, to just be honest about it. I think from an organization's perspective, few things that we should keep in mind. So we are a retail organization, and we have, if you ask me, we have three critical areas that I would like to cover. So one is my office, which could be my corporate office, it could be my regional office. The second is my stores, the physical stores that we have, and the third part is our online business. So I'll start with the office. So I think, like I was mentioning, while we may get to unlocking after so many months, things are still not safe. So it is
Are
very
your
important.
retail stores opening up? Are you
Yes,
guys
they
opening
are.
up?
Yes.
And when is this start happening from?
We started towards the end of May, mid to end of May, when we started opening stores, but we are not open everywhere. Only few stores are open right. So it all depends on whether it is in the containment zone or not. Like that, with state, like Mumbai, none of our stores are yet open. Chennai, none of the stores are open. So it all depends on the location and the city, the area. So yeah. So when it comes to our corporate office or regional office, I think we have already taken measures. So for example, we were using biometric. We've stopped using our biometric for attendance capture. We're saying people have to just come, give their employee ID. There is a security guard who just keys in the details. And of course, we have the sanitizers. We keep sanitizing all the critical areas where we are mostly touching, like doorknobs and doorknobs and handles and things like that. So wherever it's critical, where we are touching more often, people are continuously sanitizing those areas. We've given masks to everyone, while of course people can buy their own, but we wanted to ensure that people wear the mask, so we are providing masks. We've created, for example, in the lift, earlier we had about 10 to 12 people inside the lift. Now we've made it mandatory that not more than four people can be in the four corners of the lift. So we've created those cut-off zones. We've blocked every alternate so that there is a social distancing being maintained. We are not using the ACs. Because they say that a closed AC environment can aggravate in case somebody is infected. We are still saying that not more than 30% of the people need to come to work. We are still sticking to that, and we are not forcing anyone to come to work. So if somebody is uncomfortable, somebody still feels that they want to continue working from home, we are not forcing anyone to come. So I think that's something which we are also ensuring. We have made it mandatory that people having children below 5 years or elders who are above 60 years, they don't need to come to work, because in case they get infected, it's going to these people are more vulnerable. So I think these are some of the critical things that we have as an organization we are following. And of course, we have the Arogya Setu app. So we ensure that everyone shows their green status on the app, and it is recorded every, and the moment. So we've got a lot of instances in the stores, for example, where, people have come, employees have come to work, and then they've been found COVID positive, and or symptoms have been found, and we've sent them back. So when that happens, we ensure that so we've divided in the stores, we've divided our entire teams into A and B teams, so they work alternate days. And whenever we find some symptoms in an individual, we immediately close our stores, sanitize the entire store, and we open them only after 24 hours. And even the next day, the team that comes in is the next team, not the team that was part of this group. And then we have a C team also, in case something goes wrong with both the teams, and there's a C team that can come and work. So I think taken those precautions, apart from whatever we follow in the office, has been replicated in our stores as well. We have masks in stores, we have gloves that people need to wear, we have the face shields for our cashiers and security guards, we have safety measures for our customers who walk in. Any garment that is tried, we ensure that we fumigate those garments, keep them aside, fumigate them and put them back. So a lot of things which at the store level also that we have ensured we take care of. And I think this is going to be this will have to continue for another at least 8 months to a year that I see. things are not going to get back to normal until then. So I think these are measures we have to take. And like I told you, as individuals responsible for so many other people around us, I think it is important for us also to ensure that we follow these safety measures for ourselves. Yeah. So I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Absolutely. So wonderfully, you have given all the description. So enjoying to hear what stories you have told. Mostly positive, mostly empowered, mostly on the side where you are able to build an understanding on how to deal with the situation. And since you are in a transformative stage, that's a huge change for a retail organization to now think in these times of opening in some places and not being able to open in other places, and then look at digitization. And Indian retail is a different ball game altogether. Touch and feel, and face-to-face interaction. Although I feel these times are challenging, but we are building up on the side which is positive, which is empowered, which is full of exuberance, more leaning towards positivity, makes environment filled with hope, belief, and joy. That's our belief. So it has been a good time to spend with you and hear the positive stories with all the smiles all throughout the session. Businesses have been struggling to, and specifically people in HR, pull business strategies and policies towards people and people centricity. And now all what you have talked is about people, is around providing as much as things for people to be enabled to come to work, and they make sure that they're enjoying their work. So that's something which is happening on, let's say, people are calling these as rebooting times, correction times, and this is one big correction which is happening. So I'm happy to hear all that from your side. So more or less, I think we have done with our session. And if you feel that you would want to make some final comment to the viewers, at this point in time, I will invite Nandini to make your final comment for the people who would be watching you.
Sure, Puneet. I think I just want to leave every member in any organization thinking about this, that it is the people who are the heart and soul of an organization. And if the people are healthy, motivated, and supported by the organization, I think it is not going to be long before the organizations will get back to a healthy business. And this can happen only if our employees are taken care of, and if we have a healthy and motivated employee working with us. So I think it's my sincere request to everyone to ensure that you provide the support to all your employees at this point in time, so that they will ensure that they take you through these tough times as an organization. So I think I will leave you all with this thought. And I think happiness to me is just enjoying everything that you have and being grateful for all that you have with you. Just keep smiling, just enjoy every moment, and be happy always, and keep smiling. Yeah.
Absolutely. Wonderful to hear your concluding note, Nandini. And what we do, this is a protocol, and this is a symbol as well from our side. So we raise these two fingers, which is a sign of victory, and we are calling our campaign, which is Happier Me, Happier World. So this is a hashtag which we have developed, and we are doing this conversational campaign around that tag. So you can search this on the Google as well. So at this time, please raise two fingers and call out Happier Me, Happier World.
Happier Me and Happier World.
Yeah, thank you so much.